Today we're gonna be just dicing up my onions, getting it ready. It's a mess. Hi, so today we're gonna be making risotto, but we're gonna do it with a little twist today. And instead of using risotto rice, we're gonna use farro, which is also from Italy, but it's actually sort of a whole grain type of rice that's really healthy for you. And usually when I think of things that are healthy for you, I think, it's not gonna be that great tasting, but actually I've really fallen in love with it and I cook with it a lot now. A lot of people will make it into salads or they'll just kind of cook it up and then eat it, toss it up almost like rice. But I'm going to try and make it like risotto, which I've seen them do at some of the restaurants. And so we're going to start with the basics of risotto, which is the diced onion. And then we're going to add the farro. And then to sort of give it a little bit more oomph to it, I'm going to add some greens to it. And I got this from the farmer's market. It's rapini. This is also really popular in Italy. So this will make the risotto dish even heartier. Alright, so I'm heating up this non-stick saute pan. You can use any pan you like a saucepan or even a heavy bottom pot. But I like the ridge on this, so this is fine for me. I start by adding about 2 tablespoons olive oil, and so that should be hot. And I'm going to start with the onion that I diced. And this is half an onion. I'm not a big fan of onions, so I don't put too much of it. But it's very traditional when making risotto to start with the onion. And basically I'm going to let this cook a little bit over medium-high heat to just let it get sort of translucent. That's what we want to do. I also have here 1 garlic clove. I've diced this basically minced it really small. You don't really need to add the garlic if you're not a big fan of garlic, but I think it'll give it a little bit more boldness to the dish. Alright, so now that our onion's a little bit translucent, that took about a couple of minutes, I'm going to add my farro. So I'm going to put in 1.5 cups of farro. Usually when I make risotto, I put in 1 cup, but farro doesn't actually expand as much as the arborio rice does for risotto. So that's why I'm going to give a little bit more. It'll plump up, but it won't get as creamy as regular arborio rice. So now all I'm basically doing is toasting it a little bit. Okay, so now that the rice took about a minute to toast, I'm adding white wine, just some kind of dry white wine. So that wasn't fully a cup, it was about 3/4 cup of white wine. And now I'm going to let this cook and let the wine sort of cook off and evaporate till it's about half. And then we're going to start adding our broth. Actually, it didn't take that long for the white wine to sort of evaporate. So I'm ready to start adding my broth. I have here vegetable broth that I warmed up. And I'm just going to put about a couple of tablespoons. We're not going to put a lot, so just like the technique for risotto, we just want to add a little bit of broth at a time and just let the grain sort of absorb it. Now farro usually will take about 25 minutes to get done and cooked. It really depends on the freshness of your farro. If your farro's been sitting around in the cupboard, then it might take a little bit longer. So we'll just basically, taste it and see that it's the right texture that we want. Unlike arborio rice for risotto, I don't think farro will get as creamy and sticky, so we're not going to worry about it too much about stirring. Like for arborio rice, you have to kind of check the bottom of your risotto, making sure it doesn't stick, and then making sure there's always broth. But you don't have to worry with farro too much with that. So we'll just kind of watch this and kind of add the vegetable broth a little at a time as it continues to sort of absorb into the farro and then evaporate. We're going to add some more to it. Alright, so as our farro is cooking away, I'm going to prepare my rapini to add into it. I didn't add the rapini in right away because it doesn't take as long to cook. I mean, the total time it takes to cook the farro is about 20 minutes, and I think the rapini will just take about 10 minutes to cook. So I'm going to add it sort of midway into the cooking period. So I have this nice bunch of rapini. I'm just going to chop it into nice bite-sized pieces. Like, look at these sort of like broccoli, little flowerets on the rapini. I think that's really cool to throw in. So I just kind of cut it so that, again, you want to make it sort of bite-sized so there's no surprises. And this seems like a lot, but it'll definitely cook down when we add it to our farro. So let's do that right now. I'm just adding some more broth to our farro. It's been cooking about 10 minutes. Now when you're adding the broth, it's good to make sure that you add it in with the broth kind of warmed up so that you don't necessarily bring down the temperature of your farro. Here's our rapini. I'm just going to toss that all in. And so this will cook away with the farro as well. And it'll start to wilt and kind of, especially the thicker branches will kind of get softer, and then it'll all be really yummy when you're eating it all together. Plus, I think it gives it a really nice burst of green color into the brownness of the farro. Alright, so our farro is almost done. What I'm going to do is just taste it to see if it's ready. And yeah, it is. Also, it's a good time for us to season it, so I'm going to add some salt. Okay, so like I said, it doesn't get very creamy farro, so we're going to have to help it. And to do that, we're going to add the Parmesan cheese. Now, if you want a little bit more flavor, you can definitely add pecorino, which is also a nice Italian cheese. So I have here grated about a little bit more than half a cup. I said half a cup earlier. It could be half a cup or a cup, up to you. So we're just going to throw that in. By the way, I'm going to take that off the heat because I don't really need to cook the farro anymore. So we're just going to do it off the heat. And then also I have here, my friend Jamie Oliver was saying a nub of butter, but it's about a little bit more than a tablespoon. And we'll add that in. Alright, so we're going to just plate up our farro risotto. It has that nice sort of cheesy, creamy flavoring after we added the butter and the cheese. There we go. And then I'm just going to top it off with a little bit more grated cheese. Because you know, that always makes it look great and then gives it that extra kick. Just a little bit. And then we have here our farro risotto with rapini. I'll give it a taste. That's what they always do in those cooking shows. So like I said, it's not that creamy because of the fact that it's farro, it's a whole grain, not like a boreal rice. But still tasty and especially healthy for you. So make some tonight. Enjoy.